Our movie today talks about a woman who is pregnant, and her only dream is to give birth to a beautiful girl or boy. She was very happy, along with her husband, because she was close to giving birth. Previously, she had been pregnant, but unfortunately, she lost the baby. But will she give birth or not? That's what we will find out in today's film. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and leave us a comment. The movie starts with Maggie, who is going to check on the baby because she felt some cramps and was terrified that she might lose the baby like last time. However, her doctor reassures her that everything is fine and she will give birth at the scheduled time, which is in 2 days. He just asked her to let someone else drive her and not to drive herself. She called her friend Amila, and Amila came right away. During the drive, she kept telling her, "I'm sure this time you will give birth just fine." Amila, who was obsessed with horoscopes, knew that Maggie didn't want to know the baby's gender because she wanted it to be a surprise, whether it was a boy or girl, as long as the baby was healthy. While they were driving, her friend pointed out a car that was following them closely. A car came from behind and got very close, making them scared, but then it passed by. When Maggie got home, she thanked her friend for her support, and they talked until Amila dropped her off at home. Maggie wanted to go inside, but she promised to come with her on Saturday to the doctor, as she might give birth that day. Maggie went upstairs to rest a bit, and that night, while she was asleep, Leo came in. She was about to die of fright from the shock as he was standing there watching her while she slept. We learned that as the time for giving birth approaches, she becomes terrified, as she wants to be a mother, but each time the pregnancy doesn't reach completion. He reassured her that this time everything would go well, and that they would name the baby Charlie. I told him that if it was a girl, we should name her Charlene. The important thing is for Charlie to grow up well. The next morning, he had a program to talk about his book on natural selection, since Leo is a psychologist. Maggie was preparing breakfast for them, and shortly after, Leo left while she went for a little walk in the woods, listening to her husband's program. While she was walking, she noticed the same car from yesterday that had been following them, but she didn't pay it much attention since the car drove off quickly, and she continued her way in the woods. By the end of the day, Leo came home from work with a surprise. He bought a new car and a baby seat. Maggie was very happy and thanked him. Then she sat and watched Leo working on a device. He was preparing their child's room and had set up a camera, telling her he was very happy and just waiting for the baby to arrive. Maggie said to Leo, "The pizza has arrived." Leo went to open the door and was shocked to find a gun in his face with 2 men standing in front of him. They asked, "Who is with you in the house?" He told them, "It's just me." But they heard Maggie calling from inside, "Bring the juice when you come back." From there, the criminals realized that his wife was with him and entered. They held them both, and one of them said, "Get everyone in the house out." They searched for money, but the house was empty. Maggie told them that she had jewelry upstairs. Leo told them it was in the bedroom. When they went up, they found that all the jewelry was fake. They beat him to wake him up and make him confess where the money was hidden. They started destroying the house until Leo told them he had a safe in his office. They let him go up with them to open it. One of them asked Maggie, "Are you pregnant?" Maggie replied, "Yes, just like you said, I'm expecting." On the other side, they were trying to open the safe, but they were surprised to find it only contained some books and checks. They realized Leo had a bank account with $250,000. They said, "This is what we want." They wanted to force him to withdraw all the money, but they knew the bank was closed due to the holiday. They decided to stay with him until Monday. When Maggie heard this, she started shouting, telling them, "I have a doctor's appointment on Saturday, which means I have 2 days until the bank opens." But when she saw that criminal, he got into a state and said to them, "Are you going to stay quiet, or should I give birth to you right here? And we will take the money and leave, and any attempt to escape will be the last day of your lives." They told them, "Take care of yourselves as if we're not here at all." Then after a while, they heard a knock at the door, and they were about to die from fear. But they realized it was the pizza they ordered. They dressed Leo in a cap so that the bruises on his face wouldn't show, and he told him, "If that delivery guy sees anything strange, consider your wife to be greeting you." Leo heard him, and when he opened the door and the delivery guy asked, "What's that blood on your face?" he replied, "I bumped into the desk." He took the food and left without suspecting anything. Later, they decided to take him to move around the house, and they took him down to the basement and locked him up there. Leo kept reassuring Maggie and telling her, "You will be fine," and she started tending to his wound. Then he told her that he saw their car parked in front of the house, and when he described it to her, she said, "Oh, now I understand. That's the same car I saw with Amila. I saw it again in front of the house." She pulled the device out of her pocket, and Leo said to her, "What's this device going to do for us now?" She replied, "It's the only thing I found in front of me and I took it." They stayed in that state for hours until Maggie heard the criminals' voices on the device. She could hear what they were saying. They decided to eliminate them after taking the money since they didn't want the police to catch them and send them back to prison. And she knew that they had actually escaped from prison. Maggie got scared and started whining, telling Leo, "I don't want to die. Nor does the baby." He kept calming her down, saying, "Keep your head cool and don't be scared. I will try to lure them in any way. The most important thing for me is you and the baby to be safe." And she calmed down a bit. Maggie remembered that she had given Leo the key to the cupboard, but then realized that she had put it in the kitchen drawer. Later, Kara entered and brought them breakfast. And when she wanted to leave, Leo told her he had an offer for them. She didn't respond and left. Maggie asked her, "What is this offer?" He replied, "I will offer them some medication. Maybe they will take it and leave us alone." A moment later, Maggie remembered that Amila was coming to see her on Saturday to go to the doctor with her. She kept calling for them and banging on the door, fearing they would eliminate her friend. When Kara heard the noise, she opened the door and took her to the other side. At first, he was suspicious and said, "You're lying to escape." But Kara told him, "There's really a woman in front of the house." He allowed her to contact her, and Maggie said to her, "Just go on. I will postpone the doctor's appointment." But Amila insisted on seeing her and said, "It would be rude to go without saying goodbye to you." Maggie got angry and said to her, "Listen, I don't want to see you again. You're filling my head with your nonsense about astrology that you live by. Stay away from me. I don't want to see you in my life anymore." Amila was shocked when she heard her words, wondering how her friend could say such things and just walk away. When it was over, she pulled her butt, released all that was in her stomach. He got angry with her, pushed her, and hit her. She grabbed her and dragged her, saying, "I feel for you," and kept trying to calm her down. She asked her to take her medicine from the kitchen, and when Kara went to get it, she seized the opportunity to take the key to the trunk. Then she asked Kara if she had a child or not, and learned that she had a 7-year-old son. When Maggie went to Leo, she showed him the key, and he was overjoyed, telling her he was going up to the office to get the spare car key. He did sneak up, climbed slowly, got the key, and came down quickly. Maggie was waiting for him, but suddenly Kara felt something and quickly called out to Roy. They started running from him, but unfortunately, he was able to catch them because Roy's car blocked their path, and he wanted to confront them. He started asking them how they managed to get out of the trunk. Kara intervened and told him that she had forgotten to lock them in, which made Roy angry with her. When Roy left, Kara came back and asked about the trunk key as she was sure she had locked them in properly. The only reason Kara saved them was that she was pregnant. Later, Leo returned and locked him in a place alone to punish him. After a little while, she heard their voices from the device and realized that they had imprisoned Leo in a child's room. When they came out, she called Leo softly from the device and reassured him that she was okay and would manage just for their child's sake. But she found that the battery was about to die, and she knew Leo wouldn't be able to continue because the device would shut off. She told him to take care of himself. As she sat down to rest a bit, she noticed blood was coming down from her and she began to panic, thinking she was losing the baby. Kara rushed in quickly and reassured her that she was okay, saying, "You just need to take a warm shower." She helped her go take a shower. Roy knew Kara would be with her and would take her back to the cubicle. While they were in the bathroom, Maggie started talking to Kara and learned that she had given birth in prison and knew nothing about her child. Kara wanted to continue the conversation, but Maggie said, "Do you want to know everything about me so that in the end, you can report me and I'll go back to prison?" She told her to get dressed so they could return to the cubicle. Maggie decided to give her an outfit as a gift from her salon and asked, "So, is your child's father Roy?" Kara replied, "I met him when I got out of prison." Maggie started playing with ideas in her head to help her escape from him and said, "He has a criminal record, and you seem like a poor thing." She added, "I will help you and report the police about Roy alone." Kara said, "All men are the same." Maggie replied, "Not all the same. There are good men like Leo." She continued, "I waited for years until I found a man like Leo, and I was happy that I found the caring man I had always dreamed of." But as soon as she hears the neighbor shouting because he keeps hearing the sound of gunfire, the moment the door opens for Maggie, he starts telling her, "I'm going to call the police on you," not knowing that it's all in his head, as Roy is coming out and explaining things to him. At that moment, Maggie takes a knife and hides it in her pocket, and as soon as Kara brings her down, she starts begging her to help her escape. When she asks her, "What's your son's name?" Kara replies, "Charlie." Maggie says, "What a coincidence. I wanted to name my child that name too." Once Kara leaves, Maggie sits down to rest for a bit, and she sees the alarm device on the wall, trying to remove the battery and put it in the device. When she turns it on, she gets the big shock. She hears Kara talking to Leo, asking about her son, and he tells her that, unfortunately, He has died. Maggie remains stunned by what she hears. And honestly, we are shocked with her. She hears Kara say to him, "Did you think that if you escaped that country and lived in another place I wouldn't find you?" And she understands from their talk that Leo, whom she thought was the love of her life, has betrayed her and promised Kara to marry her. He starts telling her, "I haven't loved anyone as much as you. Maggie is just a fling." And he offers to run away with her both. Suddenly, Roy enters with Maggie and she quickly hides the device. When he asks her about Kara, she tells him she plans to run away with all the money and will trick him. And she reveals to him that Kara had been having a relationship with Leo. At that moment, they come in with Leo, and he tells her, "Leave him with me." As soon as they go out, Leo tries to say to her, "How are you, my dear?" She responds, "I'll take your soul, you traitor." She knows she heard everything that happened between him and Kara. She asks, "Do you have many women, or just her?" He starts to justify himself, saying, "She's just some sick girl, and I only said those things to trick her so I could escape with you." He goes on to explain that he met her when he was working as a doctor in prison. Then he notices the knife she has, thanking her for showing him her strength each time. But suddenly, Maggie starts to feel labor pains and cries out. Kara takes her upstairs and locks the door on Leo, who keeps shouting and asking to be there for the birth. He tries to unlock the door with the knife he has, and on the other side, Kara asks Roy to bring her the bag from the car, as it contains the childbirth supplies she prepared. When he refuses, she proposes a deal. "I'll take the baby, and you take the money." And he agrees, saying, "Mind your words." Maggie is holding her baby, and she knows she has given birth to a girl. She just wants to hold her in her arms for a little while. Leo enters the room. Kara is approaching him, and suddenly she pulls out a knife from her pocket and sharpens it. Maggie starts pleading with her to give her daughter back. At that moment, Leo manages to escape from the trunk. As soon as Kara sees him, she points the gun at him and says, "I took what I wanted." She knows that she was just waiting for Maggie to give birth so she could take what Leo had denied her. Leo starts offering her to run away with him, telling her that he loves her and has a lot of money. Maggie is shocked by what she hears, and Kara tells him, "If you want me to believe you, show me your loyalty." The traitor grabs the knife to attack Maggie and says to her, "I'm sorry, life is not a game." However, Maggie does not give up and hits Leo. Kara has grabbed the girl to escape, and Maggie runs after them, catching up to find her daughter in a car. She goes to move the car that is blocking the way, takes her daughter, and even grabs the phone from the car before running into the woods. As soon as Kara returns and doesn't find the girl, she starts screaming like a madwoman, "I want my daughter," and runs into the woods searching for her. Suddenly, Leo comes up from behind and attacks her. He goes off to search for Maggie, who saw what happened and is terrified, hiding. Then she gets an idea. She takes her scarf and ties it to a tree. As soon as Leo sees it, he starts walking slowly to grab her, and suddenly she jumps out from behind and hits him, taking the weapon from his hand. And here comes the shock. She realizes that he is completely crazy, and he tells her, "I'm going to take Charlie just like I did with the one before you, and I'm going to lock you in a mental hospital because I'm a doctor and I can write a report about you." He asks her to leave the girl, and in return, he won't harm her. She, unfortunately, is shocked and doesn't know how to feel about him. But it's impossible for her to give up her daughter, and she decides to finish him off. She grabs the phone, calls emergency services, and gives them the address. Here we reach the end of the movie. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.